I think one of the things that makes the program unique is we're preparing students for the real world, and we're preparing them for college, if that's where they're going to, or if it's a trade, a technical trade, or the engineering world in general. So preparing them also long-term for industry and being able to apply engineering principles out to real-world applications.
So we see all different kinds of students coming together in the STEM classroom and all kind of form this bond over wanting to build things and wanting to learn more about engineering and possibly going into that field.
Well, I've pretty much always known that I wanted to do something in science or math because those are like my strongest subjects. And then in 9th and 10th grade, I joined the STEM Corps, and that was a good experience. And then I figured I would go into it this year. And it was also offering the honors option, so I could go with that and still challenge myself.
I do want to go into civil engineering, and I think that STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math would really help me pursue my dream to become an engineer.
For the engineering class, I'm going to have students who are interested in civil engineering, structures, building trusses, architecture, electrical engineers. We're going to work with circuits and building circuits in series and in parallel. And then we'll have mechanical engineers as well. I have some folks who are interested in the automotive industry as well as aerospace. So we do, we're working on projectile motion right now. So we do incorporate those concepts as well into the curricula.
Over the last couple years, I've realized I want to go more into engineering, and then there's the engineering class, which is a really good opportunity. Because for example, we've done that project ballistics. We have the speaker right now, and earlier in the year, we had a project where we had to interview an engineer and ask them pretty much about their career and stuff like that. So I had a good 45-minute interview with them.
Once we are in the 11-12, we're getting industry workers into our classrooms and we're getting our students into the industry fields.
We divide up the different disciplines, engineering disciplines, and then students can choose which discipline. They sign up for a discipline, and then they go ahead and research that discipline on their own and go ahead and present to the class so the class can learn about the different fields of engineering from each other.
At first, I really thought I was going to go into mechanical engineering, and with this new teacher in Principles of Engineering, she really brought in new perspective of what engineering is. We did a couple research projects on possible engineering fields that we wanted to go into, and I found that civil engineering was like one of my top fields.
I think for the robotics class, it's definitely kids that like to tinker. And they like to interested in building robots, or maybe they've built some small-scale robots at home. First, what we did is we had them go ahead and build this robot, and it's a clawbot. So you can see that it can close and open. It has some gears attached to a motor. And then first they work on the assembly and the build, which is important. And once we've done that, we started to work with programming in a virtual reality type of software. And that way you can see what happens with your robot as you're moving through the program. But basically this is a brain that controls, that you go ahead and plug your computer into, so we can download our software and our programs directly into the brain. And then the brain will execute the different programs that we have.
I feel like with STEM, it's a lot of people who are similarly minded. Like, we're all just trying to have fun, we're all just trying to enjoy things, but at the same time, if you present us with a project and a problem, we're all going to be trying to solve it. So there's times where you're in class and it just seems like a chaotic group of kids, but then when there's really a project everyone's interested in, you're going to see some of the best, really interesting results.
I'd say the engineering class mainly helped me in the way that we really did do a couple of builds. They were challenging at first, but after you got used to the new teachers and the projects in general, I really enjoyed building.
I'd say gears, because we're learning basically how much output you can get out of input of certain gears with different tooths and stuff.
So one of the things that we're doing is we're working with Keysight, and we have an engineer over at Keysight, electrical engineer, who is, we brought him in as an industry speaker. So he's talked with our robotics class, for example, about career paths, and he's also involved in Society of Women Engineers as well.
We work hard to make sure that when they leave, they have those connections already set in place in the engineering pathway if that's what they decide to do.
That's another rewarding thing, to see them as they start to work on their teams, to be able to come together to build, to challenge each other, to hold each other accountable, divide up task and conquer. And really become effective team members. But I think that's one key thing about the STEM program too, that it does promote that teamwork with the different projects that we work on.
For building purposes, for launching a ball, some people think of building a catapult, some people thinking of making like a launcher powered by a vacuum, some people think about a slingshot. There's just a lot of different ideas.
I'm really excited for them now as we're working on our project ballistics. So the challenge is the students will come up with a compound machine made of 5 simple machines and at least one gear system, and they're going to be launching a ping pong ball 10 to 20 feet. And we'll be playing kind of a battleship scenario, so there'll be some competition involved, but also fun for the students.
I think our students are really learning how to work together, and of course, academically speaking, they're learning how to problem solve and build hands-on products, but most of all, they'll be able to walk out of here knowing that they'll be able to be successful in their future pathway because they can work with other people.
When I talked to the engineer, that was one thing he said was really important, was being able to work with others. That was one of the most important skills, being able to communicate ideas, work together, and problem solve. So I think that's been a really big help in that area.
I think trying to turn those challenges into something that helps us learn and achieve something, I think that will be important and probably most rewarding.
Yeah, I'm currently looking at UCLA and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, as well as Monterey and Arizona State.
I tell my students all the time, it's not an easy path. We're going to learn as we go through. We're going to make iterations in our design, and we're going to go have fun and do the best we can.
I think that just STEM in general is just an amazing core, and you should really join it in the future if you're really interested in going into any field regarding STEM.